Okay, so in one of my other videos, I was talking about how I was going to talk about a scarcity mindset, and a lot of self improvement YouTubers will convince you that if you're doing anything but self improvement habits or activities, then you're wasting your time, right? And sometimes how that feels like is like the self improvement community. It feels like you can't really, I guess, enjoy yourselves in ways you used to, and what do I mean by that? Like a lot of you watch self improvement YouTube videos, right? Or YouTubers, and they're like, do this, do that, stay on the good habits of like meditation, cold shower, this, is that, and it's like you're always doing that, and you might even enjoy it. But then it's like, when is the time you actually take to spend time with like family? When do you actually get to maybe even play video games again, or like, or let's say watch movies or do something like that that is instant gratification, but like your mind will always tell you it's bad because all the self-improvement YouTubers have told you so. And now I want to help you make some clear distinctions. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to help you out with that. I'm going to help you figure that out. When do you know when you can actually indulge in some sort of instant gratification, and when do you know you can't, right? And the unsexy answer to that is you don't exactly know. I think it goes something like this, right? I think it goes something like this. In Stoicism, there's this concept of moderation. So when I think of moderation, it's like, okay, you can do things in moderation. But then there's another concept that I think about, and it's, I think, one Alex Hamozi's talked about, is like, if you're a part of the 1%, you're doing you're doing what 99% of the people aren't doing, right? Right, which is spending time on movies, spending time on like junk food, doing a lot of these things, which I don't think necessarily even crazily hinder your progress, but it just depends on how much you do them, which again goes back to the idea of moderation. And oh wow, I dropped my tea. It's not that bad. All right, but it goes back to that concept of moderation. Now you have to be very, very careful. What do I mean by moderation? It's like if you do the daily habits and the good actions and you persist at them, it means that you're, everything is bound by time. So if you're mostly doing good habits that'll lead your business down a good path, then your focus, right? Like, let's say your major focus is like your business and you're focusing hard on your business, you're going to conquer a lot of your enemies, but you're going to have to sacrifice a lot too in the form of spending time elsewhere, right? For example, when you're choosing a career, you're sacrificing all the other possible careers to pursue this one, which there's nothing wrong with. It just means that that's what you're doing. So hopefully you value that career enough to sacrifice all the other ones that you could have potentially taken, correct? Right? So everything is basically time bound. Now, you have to think, how much of that time are you willing to sacrifice for family or watching movies? Because some men aren't. Some men don't value that, and they'll value their business a lot more. And who am I to tell them they're wrong? But in my opinion, it's like I'm going to have that. I don't want to say balance, but I want to have more of like a scarcity mindset, I guess, when it comes to this. And I'll explain what that means. So most of the time, what I do is I enjoy working and I value working, right? So making these YouTube videos, going about trying to figure out how to make a business, things like that. I enjoy doing that now. And I enjoy doing the good habits as well. But it's like I also enjoy watching movies or maybe like playing video games and stuff like that. But it's like, how do you know if you're overindulging or underindulging in those things? And obviously it'd be great if we just all did all good habits all the time, and I'm not saying like consciously choose to do a bad habit, but what I'm trying to say is, okay, think about doing things very, very scarcely. Like, for example, one of my dad's friends, right? I was at one of my homies' house, and basically my dad's friend's house, because I like hanging out with his son. And he was basically talking about how he's not going to go to this event with my dad because that event has already happened for like 2 weeks in a row and it'd be a bit much. So that got me thinking. I was like, wait, why isn't he going? That event sounds like it's a lot of fun. But then I realized it's like the more you start doing something, the less, I guess, you start valuing it or caring about it, and the less fun you have on it, just like video games, things like that. So I don't know what it was, but I started applying that same concept of, oh, I'm playing video games every day and I'm not having fun anymore, to everything, to every activity that I could possibly enjoy with my family. And it's like, I think you only truly enjoy those activities when they're scarce. When they're scarce and you intentionally consume and you intentionally spend that time there. Okay? So, let's say for example, I'm out with my cousins just like I was watching Spider-Man, right? And people would say, I talked about that in my last video. They're like, "Oh, that'd be instant gratification. You're indulging." It's like, look, I'm indulging. I'm going to indulge with intention. I'm not going to cope and say this is. First of all, I'm not going to cope, right? That's the first step. You don't cope with the fact that you're doing something like a bad habit, I guess, right? Because you just tell yourself, look, yes, I could have spent this time elsewhere, but I'm spending quality time with my cousins, which isn't a waste of time. A lot of us tend to, because we're on self-improvement, we think, every bad little thing we do, every little bad habit that's like, for example, watching a movie with families or spending time with them, it's like, some of us might actually still think that's bad. Some of you might not, which is fine, but some of us do think that that's like hindering our progress elsewhere in self-improvement. But I feel like that is something that is not going to hinder your progress as long as you do it with intention. Like, for example, instant gratification is more like consuming things mindlessly that you're not even really having fun on anymore, and you're not doing it with intention. So that's like scrolling on YouTube Shorts or playing video games that you're not even having really a lot of fun with or anything like that. Like, if you do that stuff with moderation, you can become a lot more successful. Now, it depends on how bad you want to be successful. How much do you value being successful? And that will kind of change your moderation. So, for example, I value trying to be successful a lot. So I've cut out video games because I honestly don't really care to play them that much anymore. But once in a blue moon, I'll get on with my homies because I'll actually have a lot of fun and I'll play. So that looks like maybe like once every 3 months, maybe. And even they know I'm like a ghost, right? We have a Snapchat group chat. Like, they know I'm like a ghost. Like, what's up, ghost? Like, you don't even exist type beat, right? So, but what do I do value? It's like, I do value hanging out with my cousins, especially because I'm in Pakistan and I'm on vacation. So it's like, I'm going to do my work, but I'm not going to make myself feel guilty for spending time with people that I actually like care about, because this is investing in a relationship too. This is investing time, and this is investing time somewhere where I can actually get some sort of like quality return, and that's what it means to have like a human relationship. And it's also another aspect of my life that I want to be able to get better with, is that social aspect, right? So it's very, very important. And I guess what I'm really trying to say is, if you heard absolutely nothing of what I've said in these 8 minutes, right? 8-9 minutes. How do you go about understanding whether what you're consuming is, instant gratification and or delayed gratification, and like, how do you go about like balancing that out properly? And there's no definite answer to that. There's some things that can really, really help you, which is first, moderation. Second thing, not coping. So don't cope with the fact that you might be doing a complete and utter bad habit, right? And then, what is the value that you're getting out of it? Understand that too. So I can compare two different scenarios. One is me watching movies, which, and one other thing. Actually, I want to add one other thing. Scarcity. How often is it that I do this thing? How much I value it? How scarce is it? Like, how scarcely do I do it, right? And then, what was the other thing? Fuck. Okay, look. So, again, there's a couple of metrics that'll help you understand that. So, for example, let's say I'm going to the movies like I did with my cousin to go watch Spider-Man, right? How much do I value doing that? If I don't value doing it at all, then I'll put my time into something that I'll value. okay, what's the scarcity as well? Like how often do I not do this thing? So if I don't do it very often, I'm going to I'm going to know that I'm going to do it with intention and enjoy it. And I'm also going to do it with intention. Yeah, that was the third thing, right? I'm going to do it guilt free. Okay? I'm going to do it guilt free because um, I know I'm going to consume without cope, without any guilt of cope or anything, because I know where I'm spending my time is valuable and I'm enjoying myself and I'm actually having fun. The point of self improvement is to improve yourself to a degree that allows you to experience things within the moment, allows you to better yourself, and allows you to actually live a life that is like worth living with purpose. I think that's the point, and that does not necessarily always mean that oh these things are bad, shun them out, don't ever do them, like bad, bad, bad. Like no, um, I think as long as you're doing them mindfully and you're doing them very scarcely, because then that is what's going to determine how much fun you have with them. If you're always doing them, they're just kind of always there. They're not they're not gonna be fun anymore. You're always doing them, you know. And so, same thing in a relationship. This tends to happen in relationships too. Couples spend time all the time. They're together all the time, everywhere, anywhere, and it's like, how do you expect them to miss you or care to miss you? It's like you're always together, bro. Like absence makes the heart grow fonder. You know, they say that cliche quote. Well, yeah, it's true because I've seen way too many relationships crumble at the fact that people are always together and just chilling together. Ah, the rooster climbed up the wall again. Lovely. Y'all see him right there? Right there. Look at him. But yeah, do it with the scarcity mindset, right? If you don't do it very often, it's okay, bro. Don't make yourself feel too guilty about it, right? But if you really don't value doing it and you don't value the people that you're with doing it either, right? Because a lot of us don't value drinking alcohol and drugs. We don't want to do that shit anymore. So we're like, okay, let's just like, I don't value that anymore. I want to put my time somewhere else. Then don't put your time there. Like it's just that simple. And then, if it is someone that you like, if it is time that you value, right? If you do value putting your time there, then do it like guilt free and do it with intention, and so you can let yourself have fun with it, because then you're always worrying about like, oh, I could have been doing something better, or yes, maybe you could have, but like take some time to look around you and actually like enjoy your life with the people that you love. I hate this notion of like, oh, you're always grinding, always hustling and shit like that. Like, it's okay to take a break because that's a part of the process. Like, that's why you take rest days in the gym. Like, I know it feels bad. I know it feels like, oh, you're not working and you're not hitting stuff, but it's like recovery is important for the long term. If not, you're just gonna injure yourself. You're gonna burn out. You're gonna do all these things to yourself which aren't good for you. So, it's your job to find those limits. How much can you work? How much do you care to work? Do you care to even spend time like around here and around there? And if you don't, like, who am I to tell you? I'm just trying to give you the framework to understand how you can understand why you would go about having fun or indulging in instant gratification, um, and why you wouldn't. That's all I'm telling you. I'm not telling you to do that or to not to do that. I'm just helping you find a framework, which is like, again, how scarcely do you do those things? Secondly, if you're going, if you, how much do you value doing that thing? And if you value it, then like, okay, consume it with intention and consume it guilt free, so that your mind is free of any sort of like, oh, I could have been doing something better and things like that. Because then your mind's not rested. Your body might be, but your mind is not there in the moment. So yeah, just thought I'd put my thoughts out on that. I know that's like a very fine line to tread, and it's very, very hard. But I think that's the way it is. So, but I could be wrong. I want to know y'all's thoughts down below. Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Peace. Take it easy.